Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My beloved brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If I were to ask you today, what is the ultimate guide to life? Some might point to a famous self-help book. Others might mention a motivational speaker. But what if I told you that the most perfect, complete, and divinely approved manual for success in this life and the next has already been delivered to us? Allah sent us the ultimate example, not just in words, but in a living, breathing human being, Sayyiduna Muhammad. He wasn't just a prophet for the 7th century. He is the mercy for all centuries. And his life is filled with practical, timeless lessons for you and me right here, right now. My beloved brothers and sisters, it all begins right here, in the silent chamber of the heart. Before the action, before the word, before the world sees any outward sign of your faith or your effort, there is a foundational spiritual reality that the Prophet Muhammad taught us. And that is the supremacy of intention, the niyyah. We live in a world obsessed with the external. The view, the like, the follow account, the certificate on the wall, the car in the driveway. We polish the surface until it gleams, often while neglecting the engine within. But the Messenger of Allah came with a revolutionary principle that turns this entire worldly value system on its head. He taught us that the true value of any deed, its weight on the scales of the divine, its reality in the sight of the all-knowing, is not determined by its grand appearance, but by the secret hidden condition of the heart that performed it. Consider this profound statement from the Hadith. Verily, deeds are only by intentions, and every person will have only what they intended. Let that sink in. Every person will have only what they intended. You might spend years building a magnificent mosque, but if your core intention was for people to praise you as a great philanthropist, that is precisely what you will get, the fleeting praise of people. And on the day of account, when deeds are laid bare for their true essence, that grand structure might be presented as nothing but a pile of dust, because its foundation in the heart was built on the sand of showing off. Conversely, a sister who simply pours a glass of water for her spouse with the sincere intention of pleasing Allah by fulfilling the rights of her marriage and showing kindness, that simple act, unseen by the world, can be transformed in the sight of Allah into a mountain of light, a deed of immense and everlasting reward. Why? Because the heart was oriented correctly. It was attached to the divine, not to the creation. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate liberation. This is the divine secret to turning your entire existence into continuous worship. The Prophet did not limit this to ritual prayers and fasting. He expanded the canvas of worship to encompass every single moment of a believer's life. You are not just a worshipper in the mosque, you are a worshipper in the marketplace, in the office, in the kitchen, in the gym. Let's make this practical. You wake up exhausted. The Fajr prayer is due. You drag yourself to make wudu. That struggle, that fight against the comfort of your bed, what is it? If you do it with the conscious intention of obeying Allah's command and seeking His pleasure, that struggle itself is recorded as an act of worship. You go to your job, it's stressful, the commute is long, the boss is demanding. You can either go through it with resentment, counting the minutes until you leave, or you can renew your intention. I am doing this to earn a halal provision for my family, to protect them from the haram, to be a responsible servant of Allah in this earth. Instantly, your entire workday is transformed. Every email you write, every task you complete with sincerity becomes an act of devotion. You are not just working for a salary, you are working for the pleasure of your Lord. You are earning a double reward, the lawful provision in this world and the immense, unfathomable reward in the hereafter. You are a student burning the midnight oil. The pressure is immense. You can crumble under it, or you can anchor yourself with a powerful niyyah. Allah, I am seeking this knowledge to better myself, to understand your creation, to be of benefit to my family and my ummah, to use the intellect you bless me with in a way that pleases you. Now, that study session is no longer a burden, it is a sacred pursuit. The struggle to understand a difficult concept becomes a form of jihad. Even taking a break to rest your mind, when done with the intention of rejuvenating yourself to study better for the sake of Allah, becomes a rewarded act. This is the spiritual alchemy that the Prophet taught us. He taught us how to transmute the base metal of our mundane daily routines into the pure gold of everlasting deeds. It means a mother up all night with a crying baby, changing diapers and singing lullabies, can be in a state of greater worship than a person praying voluntary prayers in a mosque. If her heart is filled with the intention of fulfilling the trust Allah placed in her, of raising a righteous child, of embodying the mercy and patience that pleases Him, her exhaustion is not wasted, it is invested. It is deposited in an account that never depreciates, with a return that is beyond calculation. But the flip side is the warning. This principle also protects us from the most insidious spiritual disease, Riya, showing off. The Prophet warned us of the minor shirk, which is doing acts to be seen by people. It's the cancer of the heart that eats away at our good deeds without us even realizing it. We must constantly audit our intentions. Ask yourself, if no one ever praised me for this, if no one ever found out I did it, would I still do it for the sake of Allah? That is the litmus test of sincerity. So, my dear believers, before you embark on any task today, pause for just 1 second. Connect your heart to your Creator. Make that silent declaration. I am doing this for you, O Allah. Whether it's eating food to have strength for your obedience, or sleeping to rest for your worship, or even going out to enjoy your creation with gratitude, this is the first and most crucial lesson. Purify the source and the stream will be pure. Purify the heart, and every single action that flows from it, no matter how small or seemingly ordinary in the eyes of the world, becomes a step that draws you nearer to your Lord. It turns your entire life into a seamless, beautiful, and conscious act of worship. This is the foundation. And from this solid foundation, everything else is built. So, start here, start with your heart, check your naya, and watch as your entire reality begins to change from the inside out. My dear brothers and sisters, life will test you. It is a promise from your Creator, as sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You will be tested with loss, with hardship, with pain that takes your breath away, with disappointments that shake your very foundations. You will face moments where the ground beneath you seems to crumble, where the path ahead disappears into darkness, where the only thing you can feel is the weight of the world pressing down on your chest. And in those moments, the world will offer you its solutions: despair, anger, cynicism, the blaming of others, the blaming of fate, even the blaming of Allah. But the Prophet Muhammad, our guide, our beloved example, came with a divine prescription for these moments. He came with the medicine for the soul that is sabr, patience. But not a passive, defeated patience, a dynamic, powerful, faith-filled patience that is the very essence of true strength. Look at his life not as a distant story, but as your blueprint. He was born an orphan, never knowing the comforting embrace of a father. He lost his beloved mother, the source of a child's world, while he was still just a boy. He was rejected and ridiculed by the very people who knew him as Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. For 13 long years in Mecca, he and a small band of believers endured a persecution that is almost unimaginable to us. They were boycotted, starved, tortured. His own beloved wife, Khadija, the rock of his life, passed away. His protector, his uncle Abu Talib, passed away. In 1 year, he faced such profound loss, it was called the Year of Sorrow. He was driven from his home, from the city he loved, with assassins on his trail. In Medina, even after victory, he faced battles, betrayal, and hypocrisy. He was stoned until his shoes were filled with blood. He was accused of lying, of madness, of being a poet or a sorcerer. Through it all, what was his response? Was it bitterness? Was it a call for vengeance? Was it a collapse into self-pity? No, his response was sabr, wrapped in the deepest, most profound trust in Allah. It was a patience that was active, not passive. It was the patience of planting seeds in barren ground, knowing the rain would come from a source unseen. It was the patience of continuing to deliver the message with clarity and compassion, even when met with hatred and mockery. It was the patience of praying for the guidance of those who sought to harm him. He understood the divine equation that we so often forget: with every hardship comes ease. With every difficulty comes a way out. With every test comes a promotion for the believer who passes it. The Prophet taught us that the believer's affair is truly amazing, because for a believer, every single situation is a win. Let that settle in your heart, every single situation. If he is given a blessing, he is grateful, and that gratitude is good for him. It increases him in the sight of Allah. If he is struck by a hardship, he is patient, and that patience is good for him. It elevates his rank, it purifies his heart, it washes away his sins. So in the grand divine calculation, the believer is always in profit. He is never at a loss. The hardship itself is not the objective. The objective is what that hardship produces in you. The refined character, the deeper reliance on Allah, the increased humility, the immense reward that is stored for you in the hereafter, a reward so great that when you see it, you will wish you had endured even more hardship just to attain it. This is the paradigm shift we must make. We see the test as an interruption to our happiness. Allah intends it as the very pathway to our eternal happiness. The Prophet compared the believer to a crop that is battered by wind and rain, yet it remains standing, growing even stronger. The non-believer is like a sturdy pine tree, seemingly unmoved until a single storm uproots it completely. Our strength is not in avoiding the storm. Our strength is in our flexible, unwavering roots of faith that allow us to bend in the storm but never break. So, my dear friend who is suffering right now, who feels the weight of a financial crisis, a broken relationship, a health diagnosis, the loss of a loved one, listen to the Prophet's lesson. Your grief is real. Your pain is valid. Islam does not ask you to deny your human emotions. The Prophet himself wept, but he then turned to his Lord. He did not let the emotion define him. He let it direct him back to the source of all comfort. This is sabah. It is not the absence of feeling. It is the conscious choice in the midst of that feeling to say, to Allah we belong and to Him we shall return. It is the choice to utter, Allah is sufficient for me and He is the best disposer of affairs. Even when your voice trembles, you are being shaped. You are being prepared. This hardship is not a sign of Allah's displeasure often. It is a sign of His love, a rigorous training for a rank you cannot yet imagine. The gold is not refined in comfort. It is refined in the fierce heat of the furnace. The believer is not perfected in ease. He is perfected through patient perseverance in difficulty. So hold on. Cling to your prayers even if they feel dry. Cling to your dua even if the answer seems delayed. Trust the plan of the one who is all-wise, all-knowing, all-merciful. Your story is not over. This chapter of hardship is not the conclusion. With sabr, it becomes the powerful transformative prelude to a victory, a relief and ease that will come from Allah. And when it does, it will make every moment of your patience worth more than all the treasures of this world. Be like the Prophet Plant the tree of sabr today and trust with absolute certainty that its fruit will be sweet and its shade will be eternal.